Assemblywoman Black, please.
I agree with you 100% that housing is an issue, and I do not want people to be relegated to living in a dark hole somewhere. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I don't want it to be at the expense of people's property rights. So I think that the mechanism we disagree on, the point we do not disagree on. I want to clarify that first. I'm going to shift gears here and just say, we've been in a pandemic for over a year now. Our property owners have been on rent moratoriums, not able to collect rent. We have a huge influx of people coming from all over the country. The real estate market is insane. Another one of my concerns is putting this on to property owners right now at a time when we don't even know what's going to happen with our real estate market or rental market, let alone imposing a bunch of new rules on these people that have not been able to collect rent for almost a year and a half. So, thank you.
So, thank you for the comments, Assemblywoman Black, and I respectfully understand your position, and I appreciate the differences in opinion. However, the pandemic has hit everyone. These apartment owners also did receive government assistance to offset. There were millions of dollars of subsidies that came in the state. So whether or not people feel that it was unequal application, my main issue and argument is, would you rather them be homeless and then deal with the millions of dollars that we're spending there, where you find them in an empty lot, where you find them hovering behind some space, using the bathroom behind a restaurant? What would you prefer? Because I prefer for them to at least be able to put in an application and at least be afforded the opportunity to be equally viewed, just the same as any of us, to determine that they can have a roof over their head. This is a roof over someone's head. Punishment is not in perpetuity. We can debate whether or not apartment complexes manage to survive and whether subsidies met the need, or because there were several arguments out there that you basically allowed a bad tenant to stay in my apartment forever or for 6 months when I was literally on the verge of evicting them. But there is a larger public policy purpose that was also being established by the government. That, yes, were we all attempting to be good citizens in the pandemic? Yes, we were. And here's the reason why. Because it was far more dangerous to place those families on the street. And so we had to make a decision about whether or not we want to, A, place an additional burden temporarily on private owners in order to save a greater good. The greater good was a single mother and families who potentially were going to be on the street, who then what? You don't longer have milk for your kids. They don't have a bed to sleep in. It would be a far greater issue to have had that rush of individuals living out there homelessness as homeless people because the government had no ability to sustain them. Where were they going to go? Where were they going to go? We were going to build a bunch of little tiny houses in a matter of a couple of months and place them somewhere? No. We weren't going to do encampment. So, yes, did the government make a decision to burden apartment owners in order to save families from a greater loss and expense, which would have been a greater loss on our state and a greater burden upon watching those families be out there? Sometimes we make social justice decisions. We do. And we do it because we are placed in a situation where there is a conundrum or an issue that we need to deal with. And so I don't want to turn this hearing into what happened during the pandemic, because my ultimate argument is that they have served their time. Punishment is not forever. And if we are not living in a caste system, and when you have decided that someone is free, they are free. And they need a right to a house. And all I'm saying is that, can I get an application and be approved? That's it. It's not deep. But for some reason, because of our ideological spaces, we have already decided that certain individuals cannot make it through. But that was the case in the 60s. Blacks weren't allowed to live in houses. The whole set of case law where we were literally denied for the color of our skin, and we couldn't change that. And now you're telling me as we move into 2021, and I say that ex-felons who have served their time, who we're putting government dollars into, they are the class of individuals we have no right to touch. They have no rights in this society. And if that is the case, keep them in prison. Because I don't understand why we're letting them out if we really feel that they have no value and they are not worthy of a roof over their heads. That is the craziest thing to me.